The first systematic records of the motions of the stars were made some 2,000 years before the birth of Christ by the Sumerians, a farming culture that inhabited the fertile Mesopotamian region. So began astronomy, the science of observing the sky. From it grew astrology, the practice of reading fate or religious meanings into the heavens' movements. Early Mesopotamian peoples thought the celestial body In the early 20th century, the revival of astrology continued in Europe, fueled in part by the new art of psychology. The respected Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung was among those who studied and experimented with astrology. He felt that psychology's future lay in rebuilding lost connections between human beings and the cosmos. Meanwhile, in America, charismatic personalities dominated the art, giving it a boost. One was Bostonian Evangeline Adams, who had learned astrology from books. She gained international fame in 1899 by predicting a disastrous fire at a New York hotel, based on the chart she cast for the hotel's owner. Until the late Renaissance, astrology and astronomy had been considered one discipline. Such great 16th century astronomers as Copernicus, Galileo, Tycho Brahe, and Kepler all practiced some astrology, though their notions about the extent of its influence varied. But gradually, scientific discoveries began to cause a split in the two disciplines. Some of the blows were struck by the discoveries of the same scientists that were astrology's practitioners. The splintering started in the mid-1500s with the assertion of Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus that the sun, not the earth, stands at the center of the universe. This idea was supported early in the next century by the observations of Italian scientist Galileo Galilei, using the newly invented telescope. At about the same time, German astronomer Johannes Kepler was working out his laws of planetary motion. They proved not only that the planets moved around the sun, but that they moved in elliptical orbits, not the perfect circles previously posited. In 1781, William Herschel used his high-powered telescope to discover a new planet, Uranus. The discoveries of Neptune and Pluto in succeeding centuries continued to change the conception of the universe. Though these findings showed the cosmos to be different than the one on which astrology was based, astrologers held that the reshaping was not a fatal blow. They pointed out that astrological calculations were based on the positions of the planets as seen from the Earth, regardless of whether they orbited the Earth or the Sun. Isaac Newton's discovery in the late 1600s of the laws of gravity, the concept that one heavenly body controls another through invisible forces, was seen by some as a vindication of the astrological belief in planetary influences. However, as the Enlightenment, with its emphasis on rational thought, took hold in the 18th century, the climate grew increasingly cold toward astrology. It was rejected by astronomers and eventually renounced by many other scientists. Astrology came to be considered a branch of the occult rather than a predictive science, though it still found a ready popular audience. In the Victorian era, astrology got a boost with the emergence of theosophy. One of theosophy's adherents, an English traveling salesman named William Frederick Allen, went on to make astrology more accessible to the general public. Under the pen name Alan Leo, he published numerous popular materials on astrology, including individual horoscopes and how-to courses by mail.